What happens when you stop chasing her? Have you ever stopped chasing her? Not out of anger, not as a tactic, but because something inside you quietly said, "That's enough." And suddenly, she changes. You see, most women are used to being pursued. They're used to men reacting, texting, explaining, chasing, proving. But when you don't, when you stay composed, calm, and still, something shifts. Not just in how she sees you, but in how she starts to see herself. In this video, we're diving deep into what really happens when you stop chasing her, and why your silence, rooted in self-respect and stoic strength, speaks louder than any message you could have sent. 1. Wait. He's not reacting? At first, she's confused. She expected a reaction, a text, a call, a late night, "I miss you." But you gave her nothing. Not because you're playing games, but because you've outgrown emotional impulses. That's Stoicism in motion. And she notices, where there was once a flood of messages, now there's silence, and it's louder than anything you could have said. She expected drama, a plea, a fight for her attention. Instead, she got your calm, your distance, your refusal to chase chaos. And now she begins to wonder, did I misread him? Did I go too far? Because when a man doesn't chase, he forces reflection. She replays the last texts, reconsiders her tone, questions her own pullback. Suddenly she's not so sure she was in control. This isn't manipulation, it's maturity. You're not withdrawing to punish, you're choosing peace over emotional tug-of-war. And that restraint? That's power. 2. Did I misread his interest? Now she questions the connection. The chemistry, the late-night conversations. Were they real? Your silence makes her re-examine everything. While you remain still and composed, not because you don't care, but because you're not here to beg. She scrambles to understand. She expected a double text, a follow-up, an effort to fix it. But instead, you let the distance speak for itself. Your message is clear. I showed up sincerely. If you question that, that's on you. You didn't play a game. You just stopped playing along. 3. He must be talking to someone else. When you don't chase, her mind races. Maybe you found someone new. Maybe you moved on faster than she expected. But the truth? You didn't move on to someone. You moved back to yourself. You stopped giving your energy where it wasn't respected. You redirected it toward your own growth. And in her silence, she assumes the worst. Not because you're unavailable, but because you're no longer predictably available. That quiet confidence, it feels like competition. She thinks you found someone better. The irony? You just found peace. 4. Why isn't he trying to fix this? She expected an apology, a plea, a man desperate to patch things up. But that didn't happen. Because you've learned that not everything broken is yours to fix, especially if it shattered your spirit. You're not pulling away to teach a lesson. You're pulling back because you finally learned yours. This is where most men stumble. Over-explaining, overreaching, overextending. But not you. You didn't block her. You didn't chase her. You simply stepped away with dignity. That's Stoicism. That's strength. 5. Was I just temporary? She starts to question her place in your life. It seemed so easy for you to walk away. But it wasn't. It was necessary. You didn't leave because you didn't care. You left because you finally did, about yourself. You recognized your energy is sacred, your peace, priceless. She thinks your absence is a tactic, but it's not. It's clarity. You stopped showing up for someone who only showed up halfway, and that absence, it says more than any long paragraph ever could. 6. Maybe he's too confident. She notices something different. You're not flinching, you're not trying, you're not explaining, you're just living. Not because you're arrogant, but because you're anchored. You're not afraid of losing her. You're just unwilling to lose yourself in the process. She expected you to panic, to reach out, to check in, but you didn't. That silence, that discipline, it's unsettling. Not because it's cold, but because it's rare. 7. I thought I had the power. This is the moment of realization. She thought she controlled the narrative, that if she pulled away, you'd chase, that you'd come running. But instead, you remained grounded. Now she's spiraling, not because you said something, but because you didn't. She thought she held the power, but now she's not so sure. Because here's the truth. Power isn't in who walks away. It's in who walks away without needing to be chased. This isn't about games, it's about growth. It's about walking in alignment with your values, not your impulses. When you stop chasing her, not out of ego, but out of self-respect, she's left with silence. And in that silence, she hears everything.